On this video we're taking a look at our NBA team and total picks for the games that are happening on Sunday, April 10, 2022. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 500 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Dallas Mavericks vs San Antonio Spurs. Our first pick is Dallas minus 9.5 points. And here is why. The San Antonio Spurs have been in great form as they've won 7 of their past 10 games, but they will be hoping to avoid a third straight loss after coming up short against the Warriors in a 194 loss last night. Lonnie Walker led the team with 24 points off the bench, Tyus Jones added 15 points with 7 assists, while Joshua Primo chipped in with 14 points. As a team, the Spurs shot just 40% from the field and 10 of 31 from the three-point line as they struggled to find their offense, and they were always fighting an uphill battle after falling behind by 17 points. Jock Landale had a forgettable night as he finished with just 6 points on 1 of 10 shooting off the bench. San Antonio was in action at home Saturday night against the Warriors, so they closed their regular season slate with a back-to-back ahead of their play-in tournament matchup. The Spurs entered Saturday 10th in the Western Conference standings, 2 games behind the 9th-place Pelicans. A win by New Orleans in either of their final 2 games or a Spurs loss would send San Antonio to New Orleans for the play-in tournament. San Antonio entered Saturday 6-8 in the second game of a back-to-back situation with a plus 1.2 PPG scoring differential, 111.9 PPG for, 110.7 PPG against this season. The Spurs are 18-22 on the road with a plus 0.6 PPG scoring margin, 112.5 PPG for, 111.9 PPG against this season. San Antonio stands 24-26 with a plus 2.4 PPG scoring margin, 113.8 PPG for, 111.4 PPG against Western Conference teams this year. Dallas won their 3rd straight and their 6th in the last 7 games as they waffled an injury-gutted Portland squad Friday night at home. The Mavericks entered Saturday 4th in the Western Conference and can finish no worse than that. If the Warriors were to drop their final 2 and Dallas wins here, they could move up to the 3rd seed. Against Portland, Dallas put the game out of reach early, running to a 36-13 lead after the opening quarter. The Mavericks didn't let the Trailblazers make any kind of push after that, leading by as many as 54 en route to the victory. Dallas shot 53.2% from the field, including 20 of 45 from three-point range, and held the Trailblazers to 37.3% from the floor. Luka Doncic led the Mavericks with 39 points, 11 rebounds and 7 assists in the victory. The Spurs will be missing Jacob Poeltl, Dejounte Murray and Keldon Johnson, while the Mavericks have ruled out Maxi Kleber, and they've listed Marquise Chris and Frank Ntilikina as questionable. The Spurs are playing this one on 0 days rest after last night's loss to the Warriors, so I lean towards the Mavericks to stay hot with another big win in this spot. And our second pick is under 223.5 points. And here is why. The Dallas Mavericks have been in great shape as they've won 6 of their last 7 games, and they will be gunning for a 4th straight victory after making light work of the Trailblazers in a 128-78 home win on Friday. Luka Doncic racked up 39 points with 11 rebounds and 7 assists. Dwight Powell added 18 points on 7 of 7 shooting, while Dorian Finney-Smith chipped in with 15 points. As a team, the Mavericks shot 53% from the field and 20 of 45 from the three-point line as they made this one look easy right from the start by outscoring the Trailblazers by 36-13 in the first quarter, and the margin only grew as the game wore on. Los Angeles Clippers vs Oklahoma City Thunder. Our first pick is Los Angeles minus 12.5 points. And here is why. The Oklahoma City Thunder have been in a rut as they've lost 4 of their last 6 games, and they will be hoping to avoid a 3rd straight defeat after getting routed by the Lakers in a 120-101 road loss on Friday. Jalen Horde led the team with 27 points, 17 rebounds and 4 assists. Georgios Kalitsakis added 25 points with 6 assists, while Xavier Simpson chipped in with 13 points and 7 assists. As a team, the Thunder shot 45% from the field and 6 of 29 from the three-point line as they kept pace with the Lakers until the 4th quarter, where they managed just 19 points to allow the Lakers to run away with it in the end. Oklahoma City lost its first game of the season and has been under the .500 mark ever since then. The Thunder lost 10 straight games in March before finally snapping that skid with a win over Orlando on March 23. They proceeded to lose 3 of their next 4 games, but they bounced back with wins over Phoenix and Portland earlier this week. Their winning streak was snapped in road losses to the Jazz and Lakers. Oklahoma City has been eliminated from playoff contention for several weeks, so this will be its final game of the season. Los Angeles will be looking to close out the regular season on a 5-game winning streak. The Clippers are coming off consecutive wins over Milwaukee, New Orleans, Phoenix and Sacramento, with 3 of those 4 wins coming in blowout fashion. They scored 153 points in the win over the Bucks last Friday night. Los Angeles has been locked into the number 8 seed in the Western Conference for several days, so there will not be any movement as far as playoff positioning is concerned. The Clippers will be taking part in the play-in tournament later this week. Oklahoma City has covered the spread in the last 3 meetings between these teams, but I like the Clippers to break that trend on Sunday night. Los Angeles is building towards a playoff run, winning 4 straight games, with 3 of those coming in blowout fashion. The Clippers are an entirely different team with George on the court, but the betting market has not caught up with this adjustment. Oklahoma City was down to just 6 players in its makeshift rotation against the Lakers on Friday night, which led to a blowout in the 4th quarter. The Clippers will have more energy down the stretch of this game, allowing them to cover the spread. And our second pick is under the total. And here is why. Oklahoma City ends their terrible 2022 season on Sunday as they will finish 14th in the West. Against the Lakers, it was a back-and-forth game, but they were outscored by 15 in the second half, which resulted in them taking another loss. They are also depleted with injuries, so they only played 6 players and were led by Melvin Hort, who played 47 minutes and dropped 27 points and 17 rebounds. Georgios Kalitsakis added 25, while the lone bench player, Melvin Frazier, dropped 16. Los Angeles is playing Sacramento on Saturday night, but that game doesn't mean anything, as they are already locked into traveling to Minnesota to play the Timberwolves on Tuesday for the 7th seed. Should they lose that game, they would then host the winner of New Orleans-San Antonio for the 8th seed. In their last game against Phoenix, they were led by Norman Powell, who had 24 off the bench, while Paul George dropped 19, and Ivica Zubac had a double-double with 13 points and 11 rebounds. Portland Trail Blazers vs Utah Jazz. Our first pick is Utah Jazz minus 19.5 points. And here is why. The Utah Jazz are averaging 113.4 points on 47.1% shooting and allowing 107.9 points on 45.5% shooting. Donovan Mitchell is averaging 26.1 points and 5.4 assists, while Bojan Bogdanovic is averaging 18 points and 4.2 rebounds. Jordan Clarkson is the 3rd double-digit scorer and Rudy Gobert is grabbing 14.7 rebounds. The Utah Jazz are shooting 36.2% from beyond the arc and 77.1% from the free throw line. The Utah Jazz are allowing 35% shooting from deep and are grabbing 45.9 rebounds per game. Utah played for the 3rd game in 4 nights, and it caught up to them down the stretch as they let a big lead slip away in a loss to the Suns. The Jazz entered Saturday tied with the Nuggets for the top spot in the Northwest Division. A win here, or if both they and Denver lose, would give Utah the Northwest Division title and the 5th seed in the Western Conference playoff picture. Against Phoenix, Utah trailed by 6 after the opening quarter, led by 3 at the half, and outscored Phoenix 35-21 in the 3rd quarter to lead by 17 heading to the final quarter. The Jazz ran out of steam, getting outscored 36-13 in the 4th to wind up with a loss. Utah shot 39.8% from the field, including 11 of 38 from 3-point range, and allowed the Suns to shoot 50% in the contest. Bojan Bogdanovic led the Jazz with 21 points in the loss. Portland saw everything that could possibly go wrong take place this season as they were hammered by the Mavericks on the road Friday night for their 20th loss in 22 games. The Trail Blazers are 13th in the Western Conference with a 27-54 record and are headed to the golf course after this one. Against Dallas, Portland was in a big hole early as they trailed 36-13 after the opening quarter and never recovered. The Trail Blazers were down as many as 54 in the contest as they were blown out. Portland shot 37.3% from the field, including 7 of 32 from 3-point range, and lost a rebounding battle 51-29. Drew Eubanks led the Trailblazers with 18 points and 7 rebounds in the loss. The Utah Jazz are still fighting for playoff seeding, so you should expect them to play their starters here. The Portland Trail Blazers have been a joke for over a month now, and they're losing their last 5 games by an average of 25.4 points. Yes, this line is massive for a reason, and it's because the Trailblazers are getting mopped nightly. You can't take the points here, even if the Jazz have issues blowing leads. It's the Jazz or pass for me. And our second pick is over the total. Portland has been without Damian Lillard for the last 2 months and traded away CJ McCollum at the deadline, kicking off a potentially long rebuild. Portland is 27th in offensive rating and averaging only 106.9 points per game. They have been even worse defensively, coming in ranked dead last in defensive rating and giving up 115 points per game. With 1 game remaining, the Jazz have clinched a playoff berth and are in the number 5 spot in the Western Conference. They are 2 games behind 4th place Dallas and tied with the Denver Nuggets for the 5th seed. They lost 111-105 to the conference-leading Phoenix Suns on Friday. Disclaimer: no financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information contained in or provided from or through this channel is not intended to be and does not constitute financial advice, investment advice, trading advice, or any other advice. The information on this channel and provided from or through this channel is general in nature and is not specific to you, the user, or anyone else. You should not make any decision, financial, investment, trading, or otherwise, based on any of the information presented on this channel without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or financial advisory.